When it comes to domestic violence, especially when it comes to domestic violence between husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, so within a sexual couple, often women tend to give excuses. Men do it also, but I'm going to focus on the women now because this often happens. There's an argument or there's a disagreement, or maybe not an argument, but maybe there's a disagreement, and the guy raises his voice while it's not needed. Or the guy may raise his voice and not hit her, but he utters very negative statements. Let's say he didn't hit her, he just uttered very negative statements. Later, he says, I'm sorry, I was angry. I should have said that. I'm looking for help. Okay, let's say someone lash out while they shouldn't. They make a mistake, it was an incident, and they work on themselves, and it's over. Okay, that's fine. I'm not saying that what happened was fine, but it's fine because they want to work on themselves. So the probability of it happening again is very little. But what if someone acted in a negative, hostile way without any context justifying it? Let's say that she forgot to put the trash outside. And he says something, that's why nothing good comes from you because you're so lazy. And she's thinking, what? What is this about? Now, later, he questions him about it, says, you're still thinking about that? You're so sensitive, or you're too sensitive. Of course, I lash out a little bit, so he doesn't see the seriousness of what he just did. Ladies, listen to what I'm saying. That was your warning for you to get out of there. Let me tell you why. When a human being does something that causes harm to someone else, even if harm was not their intent, the human being will feel troubled. That's our empathy troubling us. They call this the conscience, but the conscience is a cultural construct. Your empathy will trouble you when you do something that's harmful to another human being. And that's healthy when it happens. So when someone acts in a way towards you that's harmful to you, and they realize the harm, and if they're healthy people, they will make amends, they will repent. They can't undo what they've done, that's not possible, but they'll work with you towards a possible solution. Such people are healthy. But if you have an individual and they do something that ends up harming you, they know it harmed you, and they know that their action was not justified. They know that they had other options in how to express themselves and how to do things. They just didn't want to do it. They just did what they did, and they expect you to just forget about it because they don't want to be bothered by what they've done. They don't want to be bothered by the consequences of what they did. They don't want to be bothered at all. It happened, you just have fun to do with it. When someone has such an attitude, they're showing you clearly that they don't care about you. They care about their comfort. And because you're seen as a fit supply, as a practical supply to their comfort, that's why they value your presence. They value your presence because they benefit from your presence, but they don't actually value you. So the first time your husband or your boyfriend utters vile accusations towards you, that's the time for you to pack your bags and leave. There are women doing this, and they remain alive. Many of the women stay. They want to work things out. They'll make up excuses. And here's the bad part about that, ladies. If he uttered vile statements towards you, and he's comfortable doing it because he doesn't want to be bothered by you recalling it and calling it to account, he will make them in the future also. And soon, it's not just vile statements. Soon, it will be vile physical actions. First of all, vile statements will affect you physically anyway because emotional abuse affects your brain. So he has committed an indirect physical assault on you with his vile statements. Soon, it will be direct physical violations that he will do. And if you excuse it now, and it progresses, when the time comes that he has a knife to your throat, you won't even realize how bad it is anymore. Because this is the thing with excusing evil. When you excuse evil the first time, the second time it will be much easier to excuse it. But by excusing evil, you're numbing down your own senses. And once you're completely numbed down, you won't realize how bad it has become once it turns out bad. Because this is how it goes. Anytime you excuse evil, you enable it. And enabling evil will only make things worse. It will never make things better. Okay, if something bad happens, I'm not telling you to freak out and to escalate and take action just because you want to prove a point. Or just because you have things that you hold on to. No. A lot of people say things as, I have boundaries, I have self-respect, so I'm not going to take this, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm not telling you to do any of that. All of that will backfire. Don't escalate, don't freak out, but don't ignore it either. Because ignoring it is the same as agreeing with it. When you ignore evil whilst going on, it's the same as enabling it and giving it space to work out. So, don't forget the bad that was done to you. Don't dwell on it, but don't forget it. Because let me tell you flat out, a lot of people that you will encounter, they will do you wrong, they will do you dirty, and they will blame you for it. And they will attack you because they feel attacked when you remind them of the bad they've done to you, of which you haven't repented. You're doing the right thing by remembering them that they need to repent. But when you do that, and they don't want to face themselves, they attack you. You have such people. It's all about their own comfort, and they're willing to kill others and bring ruin on their own communities as long as they have their comfort. Yes, you have such people out there. So, apart from sexual relationships, this counts for anything. If you're with some friends and you're having a good time, you're chatting, you're talking, but when you talk, someone says, shut up, man, shut your mouth, or else. So they become violent towards you because they want to control you. They want to hear everyone else except you. So everyone's allowed to exist except you. They want to control you. Why? So they can feel relieved about themselves. Listen, I'm not telling you to, on purpose, annoy people and to cause disharmony. No. But come on now, you exist too. If people get away the first 1, 2, or 3 times with ignoring your existence, then they have become comfortable with violating you. Am I saying that anytime someone says something and you feel hurt that you have to attack them because you feel like they didn't consider you? No, that's stupid. Just because someone didn't say things the way you wanted them or didn't give in to what you expected and you feel hurt does not entitle you to hit them nor to harm them to feel relieved. Absolutely not. So I'm not telling you to do that. The world calls this self-defense or standing your ground or having self-respect. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not telling you to ignore people just because they don't give you what you want either. That's also narcissistic. What I'm telling you to do is to observe people. An incident can happen, okay? Not that the incident is justified, but incidents happen, bad incidents. I'm not telling you to pay too much attention to incidents. I'm telling you to look at patterns. When you notice a pattern of disregard towards you from someone or from a group, and people show no interest whatsoever in addressing this pattern, nor in turning away from it, then acknowledge what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who want to play God, who don't want responsibility. They always will have their reasons for what they do, and anyone they encounter that's victimized with their attitude, it's their fault. They will fight for their right to remain in darkness at your expense. They'll do it. So, if you have parents, I'm shifting the message now. If you have parents that have a pattern of disregard towards you, when you were a little child, you had no choice, you had no option. Now that you're an adult, you have options. You can make claim to them, Mom, Dad, I don't take this. You need to regard me too. If they persist in not wanting to regard you, then lower contact, and if they begin to attack you for it, break all contact. Don't believe in this hoax that Just because they are your parents, they have the right to violate you. Or just because they have a higher rank at work, they can talk to you any way they want. Just because someone has a higher rank doesn't mean that they are entitled to talk to you or to treat you any way they want. God himself, who's the owner of heaven and earth, doesn't talk to anyone just any way. He regards his creatures. He regards people, even evil ones. So who are these people that they can come with expectations, and the moment you don't give in to that expectations, they lash out against you and they want to violate you? Violent people always expect the best from you. You are obliged to treat them the best way possible all the time, no matter how shitty they treat you. The moment you give them back their shitty behavior, they attack you as if they are a little baby that was assaulted. No, when they do shitty, they have the reasons, but you have to give them your best all the time. What is that? Open your eyes, believers. When you see this pattern of disregard, acknowledge it for what it is and walk away from the situation and walk away from those relationships. You're not a small kid anymore. You're not a small child without any options. You have options, and choose well. Choose life. Obey Christ.